Accidents on board passenger ships. Going on a passenger ship may be the dream of many people's life. Traveling on a fun pleasure boat to an exotic location, eating fantastic food, and enjoying fascinating entertainment at sea. What could be more exciting? The cruise ship industry spends millions each year to ensure their passengers have a wonderful time on the water and at various ports of call. Unfortunately, accidents occur, both on and off the ship. It's difficult to know how often accidents and injuries happen aboard cruise ships around the world. There is no international agency tasked with gathering and reporting cruise ship accident statistics, and cruise lines themselves are reluctant to disclose negative information about their ships. According to the Maritime Injury Guide, which collects information from the U.S. Coast Guard and the U.S. Department of Transportation, there were 448 major cruise ship accidents between 2005 and 2023. 15 cruise vessels sank, and 16 people died in cruise ship accidents. One of the famous incidents during the last years were the MS Costa Concordia. On January 13, 2012 at 21:45, Costa Concordia struck a rock in the Tyrrhenian Sea just off the eastern shore of Isola del Giglio. This tore opens a 50 meters, 160 feet, gash on the port side of her hull, which soon flooded parts of the engine room, cutting power from the engines and ship services. As water flooded in and the ship listed, she drifted back towards the island and grounded near shore, then rolled onto her starboard side, lying in an unsteady position on a rocky underwater ledge. The evacuation of Costa Concordia took over 6 hours, and of the 3,229 passengers and 1,023 crew known to have been aboard, 32 died. Francesco Schettino, the ship's captain at that time, was tried and found guilty of manslaughter, causing a maritime accident, and abandoning his ship. He was sentenced to 16 years in prison in 2015. The wreck was salvaged 3 years after the incident and then towed to the port of Genoa, where she was scrapped. Almost half of the ship remained above water, but it was in danger of sinking completely into a trough 70 meters, 230 feet, deep. Despite the gradual sinking of the ship, its complete loss of power, and its proximity to shore and calm seas, an order to abandon ship was not issued until over an hour after the initial impact. Although international maritime law requires all passengers to be evacuated within 30 minutes of an order to abandon ship, the evacuation of Costa Concordia took over 6 hours. At the time, she was carrying 3,206 passengers and 1,023 crew members. The accident resulted in 32 fatalities. The body of the last missing person, Indian crew member Russell Rebello, was recovered on November 3, 2014. It appears that Rebello died while saving other passengers. In the accident report for MS Costa Concordia, the conclusions indicated that the human element is the root cause in the Costa Concordia casualty, both for the first phase of it, which means the unconventional action which caused the contact with the rocks, and for the general emergency management. It should be also noted that the Costa Concordia is, first of all, a tragedy, and that the 32 dead people and the 157 injured depended only by the above-mentioned human element, which shows poor proficiency by key crew members. According with the evidence found at the end of the investigation, it is necessary to put in evidence that Costa Concordia resulted in full compliance with all the SALAS applicable regulations, matching therefore all the related requirements once she left the Civitavecchia port on the evening of the January 13, 2013. The present case demonstrates the inadequacy, in terms of organization and then about who does what of the bridge team. This incident can be useful as a warning for a revision of the guidelines now taken by the various conventions, SALAS, STCW, ISM Code, and included with the ISM procedures on board. This in particular to explore the areas where intervening in order to ensure that the management structure of the bridge respond to each situation and condition, ordinary, critical, emergency, that may occur at sea. providing also instruments for adaptation to different types of vessels/sailing/quantity and quality of the crew. Among the others, a correct adoption of the traditional navigation tools and related criteria, the adaptation of the outlook and radio navigation,